2016, SpaceX founder Elon Musk unveiled his grand ambition to set up a city on Mars and hoped to see a crewed mission to our planetary neighbor happen as soon as 2024. Since then, the company has undoubtedly made a lot of progress in building its Mars rocket, but not quite fast enough to meet that initial timeline. In March 2022, Musk revealed in one of his tweets that he now sees 2029 as the earliest date humans might first step on Mars, which would be almost 60 years since the first moon landing in 1969. Just like his other future tech plans, the timeline for plans of colonizing Mars keeps on changing. As recently as December 2020, the billionaire was aiming for 2026 as the year of stepping on Mars. However, depending on Musk's announcement regarding this plan, some predictions have been made based on a reasonably optimistic evaluation of the technological and social progress of humanity. Starting in 2020, when the United States held its next presidential election, SpaceX worked on the next stage of Starship tests that covered the booster, as well as high-altitude, high-velocity flights. This year, the team was expected to conduct several test flights before actually placing anyone on board. Later on, in 2021, the Starship was set to embark on its first commercial flight. SpaceX Vice President of Commercial Sales, Jonathan Hofeller, revealed at a conference in Indonesia that the plan was to host the first flight around this time. After 2021 plans, 2022 could be the first year that SpaceX reaches the new homeland for Earthlings, Mars. In September 2017, at the International Astronautical Congress in Adelaide, Australia, Musk suggested 2022 as the point at which at least 2 unmanned ships could make their way to Mars. The 2 planets will be at an ideal point to send a rocket in 2022, a phenomenon that occurs roughly every 2 years. He openly said, "I feel fairly confident that we can complete the ship and prepare the ship for launch in about 5 years. 5 years feels like a long time to me." The ships would place power, mining, and life support infrastructure for future flights, and would also confirm water resources as well as identify hazards. However, in February 2022, Musk made some changes in the plan as he tweeted that SpaceX has more pressing missions. He said, "Moon first, Mars as soon as the planets align." As per SpaceX's new plans, 2023 is the year when the company is expected to send Japanese billionaire Yukazu Misawa, alongside 6 to 8 artists, on a trip around the moon using the Starship, which might not be specifically a Mars-focused mission, but its success would bode well for a future manned mission. Based on Musk's previous comments, this time SpaceX's prototype Starship could make the first successful orbital test flight and landing. In 2024, when it is time for another election for the President of the United States, it is also the next time that the Earth and Mars are suitably aligned to send a rocket. This time, there is a high chance that SpaceX will not send 2 cargo ships to Mars as previously suggested. If this prediction holds true, this will be the next ideal moment that Musk's SpaceX can send the cargo ships and lay the groundwork for a further mission. You say the first step towards colonization. On the other hand, if SpaceX sends the 2 cargo ships by this stage, the next step will be the manned mission, which might include sending 2 cargo ships, alongside 2 cruise ships, taking the first people to their new homeland. People will be tasked with setting up a propellant production plant, combining Martian ice, water, and carbon dioxide to create methane and liquid oxygen to fuel the ships and come back home. They would be tasked with collecting 1 ton of ice every day to fuel the plant. Not only this, but according to Musk's plans, the first humans will also likely have to use solar-powered hydroponics to feed the plants and grow more food. Elon Musk said in an interview that the technology, which allows plants to grow without soil, is already in use on Earth, and the same techniques could simply and immediately apply to the Mars colony. But let's clear one thing: no matter how fascinating this looks, it is not going to be a leisurely visit. Even Musk thinks the same, as he once said that Mars and the Moon are often thought of as some escape hatch for rich people, but it won't be that at all. Now, when humans will have eventually started to colonize their new home in 2024, 2025 is the earliest point at which Musk thinks a Mars colony could take proper shape. He has also predicted a time frame of approximately 7 to 10 years before the first bases take shape. According to the principal Mars development engineer for SpaceX, Paul Wooster, the idea would be to expand out, start not just with an outpost, but grow into a larger base, not just like there are in Antarctica, but really a village, a town, growing into a city and then multiple cities on Mars. The larger cities would offer more habitats, greenhouses, and better life support, and also enable new experiments that help to answer some of the big questions about life on Mars. After 2025 successful colonization, SpaceX is expected to send more ships to Mars. In one of his tweets, Musk explained that SpaceX could use almost 10 orbital synchronizations to complete a city by the year 2050. He is confident there will be a city of about 1 million people on Mars by 2050, transported there by nearly 1,000 starships proposed by his company venture, with plans for up to 3 rocket launches per day. By the next decade, Mars City's population is expected to reach the level where you can't anymore make decisions by corporate hierarchy or direct democracy only. The first city council on Mars will also be elected. By that time, the humans on Mars would have developed much similar to the Earth, that both planets may be considered close enough for humans born on Mars to easily travel to Earth. But they will need to use exoskeletons as body support to augment their strength and endurance, all because of Earth's heavier gravity compared to Mars. There will be all the educational facilities in the new home, and people would find it difficult to travel to Earth to avoid their educational gaps. Tourism from Earth will be expanding on Mars, but the trip will still be expensive and only the rich can afford it. Besides its high-tech cities and bases, Mars can offer spectacular safari rides, and if you are really wealthy, you can also hire some of the guides to take you to the caldera of Olympus Mons, depths of Valles Marineris, or other exclusive locations still to be planned. In the next 20 years, the first Martian Council, consisting of proportionally drawn representatives from every Martian city and base, will be assembled on the principle of self-government. This council would deal with the issues important for all of the Martians and will act as a representative of the Martian population in relation to governments and the corporations of Earth. At this time, tourism from Earth is expected to become more and more mainstream, and even middle-class people can afford a trip to this new habitat. More powerful halocarbon factories will be set up throughout the planet, and human needs would be revolutionized. With perseverance and collaboration, in the 22nd century, Mars would practically become self-sufficient, becoming an independent nation-state that only needs to import only the most complex goods and intellectual property. The Martian government at that time will have to buy up the non-Martian governmental assets located on Mars. All the Martian-born babies are granted automatic Martian citizenship, as well as all the colonists living on Mars for more than 1 Martian year. The government may also issue the Mars dollar as an official currency on Mars, which would be a completely cashless electronic currency. Not only this, but major technological and environmental changes would also occur to the planet. However, this all needs consistency in the contribution of the company and the people. Confident about his plans, Musk said there is a 70% chance he will visit Mars himself any time in his life, perhaps paying a visit to this developing colony. Musk and his partners are very hopeful that they are doing one of the best things for humanity by colonizing Mars. According to SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell, if something were to happen on Earth, you need humans living somewhere else. I think you need multiple paths to survival, and this is one of them. That's all for today. What do you think of SpaceX's year-by-year plans for colonizing Mars? Tell us in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it with your friends. Also, please check out other videos on our channel as well. Thanks for watching.